For many American students, college is the first major step into adulthood, a highly anticipated opportunity to leave home for a new campus to discover career paths, find new friends and partners, and to become an adult. Students are constantly told, this is the best time of your life. And while that may be true, for many, that joy and excitement isn't always so easy to access. Feelings of anxiety for the future can often take precedence. The World Health Organization placed university students at a 4.4% higher risk than the general population for anxiety and 3.6% higher for depression. This statistic, though, does not account for the devastating effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Since 2020, rates of depression in college students have doubled. Academic stress and decrease of social interaction are crucial factors in this stark decline. Currently, suicide is the second leading cause of death for college students. The Temple News spoke to Temple's main mental health resource, Tuttleman Counseling Services, to learn why students are suffering and how Temple is able to help.
My name is Dr. Andrew Lee, and I'm the Senior Director of Tuttleman Counseling Services.
In order to understand how students interact with Tuttleman, we spoke to a student who went through the system about his experience.
My name is Ajay Grewall. I'm a freshman at Temple, a neuroscience major, and I'm from New Jersey.
We know that this is a niche population, right? College students, understanding college students, it really is something that not everybody does and not everybody knows. When we think about college students, they are in this kind of unique experience of being, especially here, on a campus, right? Surrounded by thousands of like-minded individuals, which is different than, say, an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old who's living at home, working, doing different, like that experience is different.
I think the freedom of college is kind of like, it's both good and bad, because obviously people are experimenting, especially in freshman year. But I feel like it's good because you kind of start to realize those faults and then you kind of become more responsible. Because I feel like since everyone's coming from like really different aspects of life, some people haven't gone through certain things, like, and they haven't built emotional intelligence or something like that. So it's like hard to like adjust, and then something small happens and then it turns into something really big.
I will say that basically we see everything and anything. So if you look at or you think about the DSM, the manual of diagnoses, I can honestly say we have pretty much seen every diagnosis there is in that manual. So if we think diagnostically, the biggest two issues that we see and have pretty much always seen are anxiety and depression. Many years ago, probably about a decade or so ago, depression used to be number one, but now anxiety is number one. And I think we can understand why that might be, because there's so many things going on in the world that can bring about students to feel anxious. We're seeing students coming in saying that they're anxious about what the future might look like with all of the political upheaval. They're saying they're really anxious about what their financial future might look like because of the politics and the things that are happening in society. We see lots of students that come in saying, I'm having family issues, whatever that means, right? Family issues mean different things for different students, but we see a lot of that, of trying to, again, navigate what it means to be an emerging adult. A lot of times we see, again, relational issues, right? Relationship breakdowns, relational problems, concerns. Do I want to stay in this relationship? I think students really want that and seek that connection. And when there's a disruption or a rupture in that, I think that they're struggling to try to figure out how to manage that.
The first month, I didn't really like go out or do anything. It was kind of just like, I didn't know how to make friends really. So I basically was just like existing. And it was like average, like nothing bad or good was happening. Then I started making friends, but then, drama. I kind of prioritized like certain relationships that I want to like keep up here, and then certain ones I want to like.
I think there's a few things that students are really lacking, and I will say the first is sleep. A lot of times students think, oh, well, I have to do so many different things, and so I can't sleep. But in fact, what we have found is that sleep is one of the most important things that students can do to really help their mental health. Because when you aren't sleeping, and by not sleeping, that means less than 5 hours a night, So a lot of times people think, oh, well, if I sleep just a couple hours, that means it's bad. But no, if you're only sleeping 5 or so, that is sleep deprived. When you're sleep deprived, how do you feel? You feel pretty bad. You feel pretty lousy. And you can often feel depressed, you can often feel anxious. So a lot of times sleep deprivation and prolonged sleep deprivation can actually mimic mental health symptoms.
Curfew is like a big thing, I guess you could say. It kind of goes with the freedom, but like I feel like a lot of people when they start out college, they're up to like 3 a.m. hanging out with their friends for like months on end, and then it's like crazy burnout.
The second is to move. It's moving your body for a little bit of time every day, because I think a lot of times it's so easy to get caught up in, I have to focus on this work that I have to do, or this project, or this paper, or what have you. But really being able to move your body for a little bit of time every day is really important.
I'd go to the gym more, like just for, whatever. I sleep better, not like 4 a.m. because I have 8 a.m., so I kind of have to sleep better.
And the third is that, like I said, we are social creatures. So it is really trying to hone those social connections to really support each other when you're going through something and when you're not, right? Just being able to have a good time, just being able to relax together, being able to spend time together is so important, because one of the things that can lead to or can exacerbate mental health concerns is when you're feeling lonely, when you're feeling not connected to other people.
The first thing I did was I actually used Tuttleman. That's when I started, late November, because I had this whole like friend group.
We have a wide range of services that we provide. We use something called the personalized care continuum, so to really provide individualized care to all students, because quite frankly, all students don't necessarily need individual therapy. They might need something else. So we have things like, we have something called WellTrack Boost, which is an online CBT-based therapy program that all students are eligible for. We have something called Togetherall, which is a peer support, an online peer support program that is anonymous and again confidential. We also have a very robust group program. So we have groups for a variety of different issues, whether it be social anxiety, depression, anxiety, family of origin issues. So basically, if you can think about an issue or a concern, we generally have a group that can address it. So that Resiliency Resource Center is more of a self-help library kind of experience. We have a very nice massage chair. We have resources that students can use. So the Resiliency Resource Center is really a place that students can help themselves in a lot of ways. And then we also have a yoga program. So we have a yoga studio right here at our center, and we provide yoga classes as well, but really more focused on therapeutic yoga. We have a CASA unit. So our CASA unit is our campus alcohol and substance awareness program. So that helps students. We have counselors who are specifically trained to manage and deal with substance use and abuse issues. So that's one unit. We also have a sexual assault unit at TCS that also helps with students who might be experiencing those types of concerns.
I do recommend using Tuttleman, but I don't recommend using the therapist there or like that kind of thing. The Tuttleman ones are like, they kind of just want you to go in and get out. So I started going to therapy, and then I called Tuttleman, and they were like really fast paced with it. Like it kind of seemed like they were just asking a bunch of questions. Mental health is such a underrepresented topic, and if you're doing like counseling services, you should care. Like it just kind of seems like they're doing it just for the heck of it.
However, one thing I do want to say is that a lot of students think that we have session limits, and we do not. There are no session limits here at TCS. However, we do operate from a very social justice oriented model. And what that means is that for those students that have resources, whether it be insurance or whether it be money, things like that, transportation, then we will often ask those students after a short-term course of therapy here to utilize those resources to obtain services in the community, because what that does is it frees up our resources here to provide services for students who don't have the resources to obtain services outside. So we do short-term therapy, and we also have psychiatric care So if you need a psychiatrist, we have psychiatrists on staff, and we also will help with those external referrals.
Even though you had a bad experience with Tuttleman, are you still appreciative that you went and was able to seek out that help, even if it wasn't kind of in the way that you would have liked?
100%. So I asked for long term, and I got this random virtual therapist in Oregon. I love her. Her name's Terry. I feel like the options they give you to connect outside of Temple are really, really helpful.
Changes after the COVID-19 pandemic haven't only affected college populations, though. Temple University lies in the heart of North Philadelphia, an area known for its rich history, art, and community, but deals with poverty and addiction. Overdose deaths are not evenly distributed across Philadelphia. The 19134 zip code, which includes neighborhoods like Kensington and Harrogate, reported the highest number of overdose fatalities in 2022, totaling 193 deaths, a 14% increase from 2021. As financial, housing, and political issues arise, mental health in Philadelphia as a whole is jeopardized. The Temple News spoke to a peer specialist at Merakey, the first mental health urgent care in the city, located on North Broad Street.
Hi, my name is Whitney Clark. I am a peer specialist here at Merakey Mental Walking Clinic. In the Philly community, what you see a lot of is anxiety, depression, substance use related situations, and trauma. I feel like a lot of it is also contributed to poverty as well. So those things take precedence a lot in our clinic when we see people impacted by the social economic situation of what we're going through today. I mean, we have had an uptick of violence that contributes. Once again, substance use plays a big role. Our community as a whole with depression and anxiety, that makes a difference. But it can also be generational trauma. So when you're in a community where it is poverty stricken, the cycle has to be broken. And that's what we're figuring out today, how to help and assist people with feeling better. My journey started out pretty early. At the age of 15, I found my brother dead from an overdose. As a family, we didn't understand the dynamic of overdose, especially the dynamic of substance abuse in 2001. So we were unaware that he was using it. It just was a lot that impacted me. And it took for 12 years for me to understand what I was experiencing. So I feel like even though it was a rough journey to get me here, I embraced my past because I wouldn't be a peer specialist today if I didn't go through that. So as a peer specialist, if someone comes in and we do what's called a call intake and we get an idea of how they're feeling for that day, I'll go and speak with them and see if there's anything that, to get an idea of what services they may be looking for, or do they just need someone to listen. So I provide the support of identifying what mental health conditions, because mental health for some is still a scary factor. So Merakey has been around for over 55 years. Started in Northwest Philadelphia with, I believe we're in 11 different states. We provide a plethora of services from IDD, substance use disorder, MAT, medical assisted treatment. But here at the Walking Clinic, what we do is we provide immediate service to those that are seeking mental health services. And when I say immediate, because people are like, oh, it's an urgent care. It should be this, it should be that. No, it's a 2-hour process. But it's where we provide assistance for that middle, not a person that's actually in crisis, but a person that may need assistance, an individual that may need assistance, or just want to talk. Here at the clinic, we leave it to where no matter how big or small, everyone is treated as a person with respect and dignity. Being here in this location, it gives us the ability to reach not only the Strawberry Beach community, but we're accessible to SEPTA, things like that. We help people get stabilized in the community. So instead of individuals seeking treatment so far as going into a crisis center for a situation that might not be mandated, we're here to be the bridge. Here we develop a personalized aftercare plan to connect people with ongoing resources. If they need a mental health therapist, if they need medication, those things, resources as well for the city of Philadelphia. So it's a lot of things that we do here that you may not see in other places. Mental health resources, I feel, are not accessible as they should be. Being here, we deliver solution-focused therapy, and a lot of people understand the solution is everything. We can't continue to keep talking about the problem and we're not coming up with a solution. So I think part of the solution with mental health is the actual coping, understanding, okay, individuals have situations, they have problems, life shows up, but how do we overcome it? How do we continue to conduct ourselves on a daily basis with something traumatic happening to us? And I think that's the problem that we don't think about. Just having hope. There's a lot of things that we as a community that I think that we've lost. A sense of community. I don't feel like we're as connected as we once used to be as a people in general. Everyone's so agitated, aggravated, in a rush to get places. It's just, things have definitely changed.
In university environments and Philadelphia as a whole, anxiety and depression are both leading mental health concerns. In more poverty-stricken areas of Philadelphia, there is often generational trauma, which can lead to substance abuse. A takeaway that the Temple News gained after speaking with Merakey and Tuttleman is that nobody struggles alone. Resources exist, though they may not be currently as accessible as they should be for all members of the community. These organizations all had something in common: hope for the future. Trauma and mental health disorders are frightening at any stage of life, especially as a young adult being independent for the first time. But through talking about it, meaningful connections can be built.
Everyone's going through something, right? And you might not always know what they're going through. And I will say, especially in this world of these curated lives on Instagram, that a lot of times people think that experience is everyone's true experience. But the issue is that you as the person, you have access to your internal experience, but you don't necessarily have access to that influencer's or that person's internal life. So all you're seeing is the nice, pretty picture. But the truth is, life isn't about the nice, pretty picture.
One time when mental health was not as prevalent as it is now, people don't engage in those conversations too much. So I think if we were to talk about it collectively as a whole, things would be a lot better. Number of things that you can do: engage in community activities, worry about but take care of your own self-care.
I feel like just when you get to college, find a club, but then prioritize yourself. You don't know what's gonna happen a month from now, a day from now, but you're still gonna be there, so you can only really rely on yourself. So make sure you make yourself the priority. That was the first time I decided to do something for myself. So I went to Center City and spent a couple hours just by myself. I went to Barnes and Nobles. I finally got a book. I like reading it's the psychological mental health books. I love reading those. So I started reading again.
Self-care could mean just as simple as a regimen, a daily regimen.
In terms of how to help or try to understand or destigmatize, I think that's the truth, which is that everyone is going through something. I know no perfect people, right? And I know no one that is not struggling with something at some point, right? And so I think if you can have that understanding and really show that type of kindness to other people, I think that can go a long way.
I feel like people have became so comfortable with wearing a mask or not showing, if I maintain this demeanor, I will be okay, or everyone will think I'm okay. So I'm the person that says it's okay to not be okay, because I wasn't always okay, but we can get there.